This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for Thursday, August 4th. Yesterday when I was listening, I went, said yesterday was a busy Tuesday. What a moron. Yesterday was Wednesday. This whole Monday off concept that I've lived through for almost 6 decades still stumps me. Like, oh my gosh.
I think you can take a pass this week because quite honestly, I can't believe tomorrow's Friday already too.
Lost Throwback Thursday.
It's just, it's flown by this week.
Been kind of an exhausting show. We thought that we were, we thought we were being punked with the sinkhole at Coleman and Moira. Turns out it's real. There really was a sinkhole, and the Public Works right there. Police didn't know about it at 7:30.
Because, we received a phone call, and then our newsroom checked.
Yeah, and said, no, there wasn't.
There wasn't one. They're punking us.
Meanwhile, there are families missing. No, I don't know. I don't know how big it is. It's not that big.
Meanwhile,
there was a sinkhole. So stay away from Coleman and Moira when you're listening to this. And by stay away, don't go get a lawn chair and go watch them fix it.
Yes.
That's
literally stay away.
Not just don't drive there, leave them alone. Mm-hmm. But later I'll be the guy with the lawn chair. And they're wondering, how deep is that? I'm fascinated by stuff like that.
That's horrible because that's where I first looked with social media. Mm-hmm. There's a sinkhole. Someone's got to have a picture. Someone's talking about this somewhere. Let's go on to Facebook and see what they're putting up. I didn't see anything. So I really believe that maybe we were being punked.
Well, there was something. I don't know how large it is.
Maybe it's up there now.
You look it up. I'm going to talk about mom shorts.
You're going to talk about mom shorts. Okay.
I'm actually having a pop this morning.
Tell me about mom shorts, Mark.
Here's the thing. No, I don't want to because it sounds creepy. But I wanted to talk about it.
I know you wanted to.
Because you were wearing these sort of nice cargo shorts sort of thing. I said, oh, nice shorts. And you said, yeah, they're my mom shorts. And then I wanted to know why the mom explanation is included on so many things in society now. Mom jeans, mom friends, mom drinks, mom...
guilt.
Yeah, mom guilt.
That's a big one.
Hair.
That's been around for a while, the mom guilt.
Where did that start and where does that go in and why does that so easily roll off the tongue of women and men? I would
momisms?
I would never say anything because to me it would sound...
it is a way to...
It sounds derogatory if a man says it though.
Well, and it can kind of sound, because that's what I was afraid of until you pointed it out to me, until you drew attention to it for me. I didn't think anything of it, but once you did, I kind of felt that maybe I was being derogatory. Maybe I was assuming too much. It didn't feel positive, even though I wasn't trying to be negative by referring to it as mom shorts. I consider them mom shorts, and it really made me stop and realize, okay, well, how do I consider mom? And that bothered me too, because why would I consider myself different in that role as opposed to a woman overall?
Right. Because if you said you had mom hair, it doesn't mean it's all coiffed up and brand new and looking great. It's like you're making an excuse for why it isn't.
Yeah.
As, it's mom hair. Well, then that's okay.
Instead of just saying, thank you, Mark. I do like these shorts.
Yeah, you went to
I had to explain
mom
them.
Shorts.
Well, and because they're loose fitting. There's a lot of pockets in them. They're like board shorts, cargo board shorts.
Yeah,
there's nothing feminine about them, I would say. They're just shorts, and maybe that's why. And that's not right either when I stop and think about it. I don't like that.
We're just in such a culture of labels now and trying to unlabel other things that when I hear something like that, I don't understand. I feel like I have to ask because I'm going to turn around and I'm going to use that in the wrong situation. And being a public figure, it's going to just go bad. So thank you for anyway.
Well, I don't know if I really cleared anything up, but I am somebody's mom, and that's kind of, and that's why I guess refer to different things as, that's my mom this or my mom that.
For clarification, your mom to two of them. Not just someone.
Well, yeah, two little people.
Poor Ben's like, oh, great.
Not so little anymore. Jeez.
No, well, how big's Nathan now?
About as big as I am.
Yeah, well, don't take him to Rib Fest. Don't take him to Rib Fest this week. Don't feed him.
Just a side note, his feet are bigger than mine. Mm-hmm. I cannot wear his shoes.
Wow.
They're like clown shoes on me. And he's 11. 11. This kid's going to be huge.
Yeah, it could be big like that. It'll be 6'4", 6'3". How tall do you think he'll get?
Nathan?
Yeah.
Well, children tend to be taller than their parents, right? Because we start to shrink, they grow up. I'm going to say probably 6'3".
Yeah, you keep thinking that.
Yeah.
Just like you keep thinking women live longer than men. We talked about this
We do live longer than men.
For 250 years, we've thrown this statistic around, and finally somebody sort of upended it and said, let's really think about what this means. And when I read it this morning, I went, ha! Aha! Because I love things like Freakonomics on their podcasts. If you love to hear why we believe things that we believe, even if they aren't empirically true, we just like to believe them, you should go, I'm going to give them a plug on ours. Go listen to the Freakonomics podcast. I love listening to that. But they said that really, when you get to the end of the day, men and women live the same, the longest, the same. But what happens is, when there was war, for example, like World War II, and more young men died, therefore the average lifespan of a man went down. But that's not to say that once you got past war age, if you weren't in the war, you would live as long as a woman would live. But because more men than women were in the war brought down, right? Then they say, okay, well, 20-year-old men are idiots. Okay, they drive drunk,
think the term
they
you
do
used
drugs.
Was dumb.
They're morons. And I know, and I can say that because I was one. And I was one. I was a moron.
They tend to be more risk takers.
Sure.
Yeah,
and
they do some questionable things.
Dumb things.
Yep.
And unfortunately, some of them cost them their lives more than a 20-year-old woman would. So as a result, those bring down the average age. So what they pointed out is, yes, that will happen. And in developed nations, by the way, most children who die before the age of 1 are boys. Not girls. So you would think,
interested about that.
Are baby girls more feeble? Like, I don't know why I would think that. I think it would be 50-50. But they said, no, it's actually boys. So you throw all that together and say, okay, well, you add up every male human who has ever lived, and it's that age. But so if you've never been to war and you get past 20, the life expectancy of men and women is exactly the same. And I just thought that was fascinating, and I had to share it. And so I did.
It's hard to accept.
Yeah, throw it.
Because it's been drilled into our heads, as you said.
Yeah.
But for those reasons. So, and when you do look at it that way, yeah, it kind of does make sense. So if you can get past your 20s, you're golden.
Yeah, for men.
For men.
Except they said men tend to, as a percentage, higher number of smokers. So things like lung cancer
now?
later. Yep.
Really?
Yeah. And other sort of risk-taking things like with my diet, for example, I don't know how I'm still alive. Some of the stuff that I eat like all the time still, like, come on, Mark, come on. The internet, Google a few vegetables, right? Just something. I don't know why I'm still alive. But because of things like that, I'm less likely to live as long as my wife. But it's got nothing to do with genetic factors of being a male.
If you took better care of yourself, you would live just as long.
My wife loves a salad. I love bacon on hamburgers. Statistically speaking, if a whole bunch of people had those two diets, the salad eaters would probably live longer. And so that's
male or female.
Male or female. But statistically, men would gravitate to Rib Fest this weekend, and my wife will as well. The difference probably is I'm going to do both of them. Both Rib Fest weekends. Every day.
She may only do one day this weekend.
Of one this weekend. And then treat then treat the next day like leftovers, a couple more bones and a little bit more of the side. And I'm like, no, whole other rack. They're making more tomorrow. It's not bad, but okay, I can't expect to live to be 91.
And that's fair. There's always outside factors that play into it too, your lifestyle and whatnot. But that was interesting when you brought in war, because it is so long ago.
Yeah, it is.
It really is when you think about it. But yeah, you're right. That, along with the partying and the questionable lifestyle perhaps that you're leading in your 20s.
Speed, right?
Driving fast.
All that stuff.
Drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
We're not very easy on our bodies when we're young.
Yep. And when we're guys, we push the limit saying, I can handle it. And then now I stoop over when I get out of a chair. My knees hurt when I walk upstairs. So men, we will live as long as women now, as long as we kind of take care of ourselves.
As long as she's there to help you too.
And that's the funny thing. And that's what you brought up that I found so great, is there is a point at which, and when we were on vacation, Kath had to remind me, have I taken the cholesterol pill yet? And it's like, what's today? And then she said, she says Tuesday. I said, no, I haven't taken it in a week.
Okay,
I'm on
so
vacation.
maybe you should take one.
Yeah, so then I went back to taking one every day because she reminded me. She wasn't henpecking. It was just, did you take it? Because I know that now that we're on vacation, I'm a loose puppy that got out the back door. And now no rules apply.
So there again, if she wasn't there to rmind you, those outside factors come to play. That would decrease your chances.
Exactly. It's totally true. This is why married men live longer than single men. That's another thing. It's like, well, we think single men have it just, look at all the freedom they got.
You don't have anybody to look after you.
They're miserable. They just are golfing every day, keeping all their money.
It's such a rough life. It is. It's so rough. Well, that was interesting to take along with us today. A little something. You learn something new every day.
The really Throwback Thursday, we talked about Mariah Carey.
Speaking of learning things.
Mariah Carey had 14 number one hits in the 1990s.
The first one being This Week in 1990. That's why she was our throwback, because this is when the ball really started rolling for her in 1990.
So let's do all the math. So there are 10 years in a decade. She had 14 number one hits.
In that decade.
The Beatles, in their career, which was pretty well just 6 years, so that's why it's so impressive, had 17. You'd think, well, wait a minute, if Mariah Carey had 14, the Beatles must have had 1,000.
Yeah, I was surprised that 17. They only had 3 more.
In their entire career, the Rolling Stones have only had 8. Elvis only had 10. In a 10-year period, Mariah Carey had 14.
At least one every year of that decade.
Yeah. And a number of years, a couple of years anyway.
She had 2. She had more.
2 or 3. Like that Daydream album of 90, starting with Hero in 93, right through 96, with Always Be My Baby, One Sweet Day, of course, and Fantasy that came off the album. I mean, for about 2.5 years, she was the Ed Sheeran.
And look at All I Want for Christmas.
Oh, my gosh.
It is the number one Christmas song. That is the song everybody loves. And if we had chosen that one, if you had let me play that one, I would have beat you by a lot more than one this morning.
Hey, we're not that far away from playing it.
No, and I cannot wait.
It's creeping up.
But yeah, it's incredible.
It really is.
Her musical career. And then she kind of...
Well, and then you become a little bit diva, right? Like people are looking to knock you down. I mean, Madonna went through it. Everybody... eventually begins to knock you. I was reading today, I think it was Today in History, that in 1966, American radio stations began boycotting the Beatles because of John Lennon's comment that they were bigger than Jesus Christ. And so this whole backlash against the Beatles came on. Now, there was a reason for that, as opposed to they weren't being overplayed. That's not why they did it. So when I hear that, though, it's like, okay, but you can't argue the contribution she had to performers like Beyonce, who's now dominating these, and so many other performers who are to come. So where does she rank all time on Billboard magazine? Beatles are number 1, Madonna's number 2, Elton John's number 3, Elvis number 4, Mariah Carey number 5.
Yep.
All time. Ahead of people like Stevie Wonder, Janet Jackson,
Whitney Houston,
Michael Jackson. Rihanna, Michael Jackson. They were the top 10. So see, Rolling Stones weren't there. And I'm not saying Rolling Stones aren't good. Come on. I'm not hearing Billy Joel's name.
No.
I'm not hearing the Bee Gees names. I'm not hearing bands and acts that have been around for Bon Jovi,
Bruce
20, 30 of Springsteen. Right. They don't have, when it comes to just chart success, you can't even hold a candle to Mariah Carey. Only 4 other performers.
And it's unfortunate because she hasn't really done it since.
Yeah.
Like it's like the millennium hit, 2000 came around and boom, where'd she go? And as you said, it was part diva, I'm sure. Yes, she did have a family, but she just kind of stopped. It was almost like she just disappeared for a while and then she couldn't really get back because you see her now.
Right.
Like it wasn't that long ago she did New Year's Eve with Ryan Seacrest. It was not good. No. She shouldn't have done it. It was not...
I know people who saw when she opened for Lionel Richie a couple of years ago in Toronto, and they said,
Yeah, and as you pointed out, a voice like that, it's like it's a muscle, like any other muscle in your body. If you don't use it, it's not going to stay in shape. It's not going to perform the way you want it to. And I think if she's planning on doing more music.
And I don't know that she is. We wanted to pay tribute to her because I don't want to hear her sing Mariah Carey songs. I want to hear her sing like Mariah Carey. Right?
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not looking
if she put out a new album now, Yeah, I don't know.
Where are the notes? Where's the harmonies?
It's like Elton John and Billy Joel. Bryan Adams even, who's coming to Kingston. You're going to see him sing Bryan Adams songs. Not necessarily for anything new.
Right.
But you want to hear Summer of 69. Yep. You want to hear Cuts Like a Knife. You want to hear the songs, and that were big songs for them.
Yeah. So thanks, everybody, for your votes. Always Be My Baby, Be Hero by one.
Winner, winner.
Winner, winner. And then final part of the show this morning was Lisa Morris of Theaters in the Wings. Hang on, Charity, don't give it away.
Sorry.
Their upcoming performance is hours away. Debut night tonight for Queen Victoria's Tea Room. So do we let her explain it? Yeah, we'll let her explain it.
Queen Victoria's Tea Room is a place that Peter Paler has created on one side with an adjoining business, like so many businesses might have done, where there's a doorway or a curtain or something that leads to an adjoining business in the same building. Anyway, it just happens to be tea room on one side, sex shop through the purple curtain.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Of course.
It's a comedy.
Is it? Okay.
There are serious moments, but on a whole, it's a comedy. It has to be with a sex shop, just next door.
Right. We'd be disappointed if it wasn't.
Yes.
Right. But there was a hearing aid place there before.
Of course there was.
And it was much more exciting in the tea room, let me tell you.
Yeah, I'd ask where Peter comes up with these ideas, but I'm afraid of following down this road.
Well, being that I live with the writer, I have no idea where things come from sometimes. I really don't. Because we work all the time, so what he puts on the paper sometimes is much more exciting than us, doing paperwork or reading scripts or making costumes. Although that is really fun too.
That's what's so great about Theater in the Wings, though, that you talk about script writing, working. I mean, this is local people putting on local theater.
Yep, absolutely. And the thing is we're our 50 people capacity, and so we're never going to be bigger. We're never going to expand our physical space, right? So we have this brilliant space to have a constant flow of people, and we're training new people on tech and lights, and we've got Sarah Wynn, who's doing amazing props, and it just the people that are coming out of the woodwork, who, I mean, literally from Wolf Island to Deserano to Napanee to wherever, Brighton, I mean, they're coming all over. We're seeing a whole group of new people who can commit to a small, this is 8 shows. Mm-hmm. So it's not, like a 3-week run, which is sometimes harder for people. But I mean, if it's not fun, we're not doing it. It's that simple.
Well, and in that kind of environment, as you said, it would be very fun. It's more intimate. There'd be more audience interaction. Everybody, it would just be that much closer together.
And the cast comes out after every show and interacts with the audience, and they love that. I mean, both sides get so much out of it, but normally it's like, like there's this magical veil, that you can't cross the actors to the audience, sort of thing. But the interaction is amazing, and just the feedback, and then people get to actually walk up on stage and look at the props close up, and it makes for a much more intimate, interactive, kind of place.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, not the sex shop props, all right? Like, you're not letting them touch that.
Well, no, you can, actually. Some are made. I mean, Sarah Wynn actually casted something in clay and then made a prop.
Oh my gosh.
Other stuff is coated in resin. There are other things that we borrowed from people. I cannot give names or anything. But,
yeah, okay.
That's okay. It kicks off this week, August 4th to 6th, and then again 11 to 13th. How can people get tickets, Lisa?
People can go to theaterinthewings.ca.
Okay.
And order tickets through Eventbrite, or they can call 613-403-7329.
Theater in the Wings. You'll see the Wings on Bridge Street in downtown Belleville. Head to their website and get your tickets. So, Lisa, thanks. Get back at it, all right? Break a leg.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much.
Thanks for just trying to keep the conversations going.
I was trying.
Because I don't know how I got sidetracked so fast.
Well, and I think did you take out the comment about 3 weeks, about
Yeah.
Good thing it's only
Yeah,
a couple
good thing
of
it's only
nights.
3 weeks. Anyway,
Not longer.
I'm not going to name names.
Oh.
Good God, when you live in a town this size, right? You can just...
You want names. Like, yes, name names. Come on.
Come on, aren't we guessing names?
It's all about being able to connect to people and relate to each other.
But Peter's so creative that way. How do you sit down and write
do
a
that.
play like that?
What makes you think of that premise, of that? Oh, it sounds
But
good.
it is very creative to say, okay, well, a tea room, a proper British
Victorian tea room.
of 100 years ago, Victorian tea. What's the worst thing you could put beside it? Sex shop.
Or the exact opposite.
Exactly,
of
that's what I
could
mean.
be.
Like, what is the most unlikely thing? And we're going to write a play about it. And then just make it a joke. And I haven't heard any of it yet, but I'm sure there are a number of them. Before, it was a hearing aid store. So the fun of somebody now walking in thinking that's a hearing aid store and wanting to buy that.
Totally different, yes.
So that kind of creativity is just so funny.
It's amazing.
Only 8 shows, that's it.
Yeah,
Only
so
8
don't miss
shows.
out. And as Lisa pointed out, it's such a lovely theater. The size of it, you really do feel like you're part of the show.
Yeah.
Because the audience, there's only 50 seats. It's
That's
not
right.
a big theater. You're right there with them.
And they all embrace that. There's never that thought of, oh, I wish it was bigger. No, what makes it great is because it is that
intimacy of
side.
it, yeah.
That's it. You know, some roller coasters, you don't want to be 100 cars long. You don't.
No.
Because it's fun. So get those seats limited. There are 4 shows this week, 4 next, only 8.
Yes,
all
this weekend
along.
and next week.
Theaters in the wing. You see it on Bridge Street in the Village, downtown Belleville. Up there on the wall on Bridge Street. That's where it is. Get your tickets. Coming up tomorrow, Dad Joke of the Week with Galaxy of Games.
Because it's Friday.
I played it for Charity. She has a funnier answer than the real one.
Do I?
Yeah, it's a better
Was
answer.
it? Okay.
I think so.
I was so confident again. I really
Exact-
thought
yeah.
I had it.
Nailed it. No.
Nope.
So
I
maybe,
suck at dad jokes.
Well,
It's a
that's
good
the
thing I'm
thing.
a mom, not a
Yeah,
dad.
that's the only dad joke. I think if somebody gives your answer before the right one, we'll hand out the prize. So I think let's
Really?
go with that. Never done that before. We might tomorrow. I'm breaking rules all over
All
the
right.
place.
Well, you have been here as with the Mariah Carey stunt long enough that
Yeah, that's right. What are they going to do?
you can just do it.
Yeah, let's just let him retire. He's getting there. Statistically speaking, how many shows has he got left?
Really? Come
Exactly.
on. Like, yeah.
And then tomorrow, a sociologist out of Glasgow University in Scotland has compiled a list of the 10 best songs to drive around with if your dog gets agitated in the vehicle. They're the 10 best songs to soothe your dog while driving. This is the dumbest list, but it does prompt me to want to name my favorite dogs, of which Dogs in Cars with Head Out the Window is the number 2 dog.
So not breeds,
No,
but just
not
the
at
kind
all.
of dogs, their personality traits.
Dogs, Heads Out the Window, my second favorite dogs.
What is your favorite?
Find out tomorrow.
Okay.
But I love, and I say hi to all dogs. And I love dogs that just see me walking and I see their head out the window. So I stop and then they get close to me and then they go,
That doesn't scare you because that scares the crap out of me when they do that.
When they was quiet,
yeah,
and then they go nuts. Yeah.
It's like, whoa, okay, just
Yeah.
walking by.
Minding my own business.
Yeah,
Vroom.
I won't look at you. I will just keep walking.
But the 10 songs to calm them down, including How Deep Is Your Love by the Bee Gees.
That song calms me down.
Totally. Greatest love song, calms dogs down. The other 9 coming up tomorrow morning. It's the Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get them. Subscribe. We've got it up each and every weekday. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning on 95.5 Hits FM.